And welcome back to my workshop here in Tank Mechanics Simulator. I have the last time I did a fairly simple tank, and this time, the last time I went into the field to find a tank, I got this thing. This is a Tiger, and this is the largest single tank that's in the game. It's also the most complicated, so I thought I would go ahead and do this one and show you all what it's all about. This may probably be the last one of these I do. I think I have exhausted all of the possibilities of this game at the moment. I've spoken about this before, but there are currently 14 possible vehicles in the game, and I have, at this point, collected all of them. I have examples of each one of them in my museum. I have every slot in the museum full. I have every slot outside full. I have at least one of everything. And now all that's left is basically just, there aren't really any story missions. You know, like Car Mechanic Simulator has the story missions. This game doesn't have, I mean, the customer orders that come up are sort of story missions, but not really. I mean, each one comes up and it tells you that they have a thing for you to build, or they want you to repair or refurbish, because it uses the term refurbish instead of repair or restore. And it's the tutorial missions kind of have a little bit of a sort of story to them, but there's only a few of those, and once that's exhausted, then all you have left are the regular kind of missions. I have to get inside. All that's left is the regular customer orders that come in, and like I said, I've pretty much exhausted all of that. So I want to go ahead and do this one because I think it's a neat one, and it's like I said, it's complicated. If I had a Panther, I would rather show you guys one of those, because the Panther is not quite as complicated to build, but it also sells for the most money. The Panther sells for like $140,000, and then the next one after that is the Panzer IV, which is about $97,000. The Tiger sells for something like $67,000 or maybe $70,000. I don't remember. It wasn't as impressive a number though. But I want to go ahead and do this one, and then I'll probably just set this game aside until they come up with an expansion for it. Supposedly the devs have talked about adding in, I think I've got everything off, nope, I didn't. Supposedly they've talked about adding some British tanks, which would be really cool because the game right now is really heavy on German tanks. So I'd like to see, it would be nice to see some British stuff. And I really would like to have a larger museum. It doesn't seem right that you only have 8 slots in the museum when you can have up to 14 vehicles. That means I have 6 of them stuck outside, which as a museum person I hate. I desperately want to have everything indoors. Fortunately, of course, the game doesn't model like weather. Got to get that dipstick out. The process of building tanks in this game is really very simple. It's you don't have to screw very much stuff. There's something on the back side of this I'm going to have to screw. I saw it had a bunch of bolts. And this is one that I dug up out in the field. There's also the junkyard, and I have been going out there to check the junkyard periodically, because I really enjoy doing those tanks. I really enjoy doing those tanks in the junkyard because they're super cheap. I mean, you spend $100 and you get basically a tank with, I mean, it's a rusty mess and it has very little in the way of spare parts. So you can, I mean, you take apart what's there and you repair it and you buy up new stuff and then you just assemble it, and it's really simple. This one, whoops, I have to get outside. This one, of course, came from the field, so one thing that I really dislike is that you can click through things to the other side that you aren't looking at, and it really kind of messes you up sometimes. I want to get that right there. But what was I saying? When you collect a tank from when you dig up a tank from out in the field, and what does it not want? What does it want there? Yeah, you have these caps. Anyway, when you get a tank in the field, you generally have most of the parts, and you can repair up. Everything needs to be repaired or replaced. So there are some things that can't be repaired, as opposed to the junkyard tanks, which have very few parts that you need to repair, and you have to buy like everything. I was paying attention to the last one I did, which I think was a what was it? I think it was a Panzer III that I bought out there for like $106, and I spent, I think, $1,200 repairing the parts that I took off of it, and then I think I paid something like $22,000 for everything else, and then I sold that tank for, I think it was $67,000. So either way, you come out ahead. It's kind of a crapshoot either way. I mean, you kind of want to get stuff. It's more fun to me to dig stuff up from the field than it is to buy them, or to buy them in the junkyard. But I will if I find something interesting over there. It's particularly if I find a Panther out there. I gotta wait for those. The torsion bars are attached to all the road wheels, and this has some of its road wheels, so I'm gonna need to take all of those off. See, that keeps happening. I'm trying to click this shovel, and it's going all the way through to the interior. Do these shackles come off? On some of the tanks, the shackles come off. There's something inside there that's not letting that come out. There it goes. And this is where doing the Tiger tank gets a little bit maddening, because like it has this like 3 sets of wheels that are interleaved. This was a German thing. They did this with the Panther and the Tiger. I think that, well, the Tiger came first, but they did this with the Tiger and the Panther, where they had the interleaved road wheels. The idea being that the big steel wheels would provide an additional bit of armor, which worked. I mean, it worked, but they also were prone to getting clogged with all manner of stuff. And if you had to get in there and repair a wheel, on the back side of the rows, then you had to take all of this stuff apart, and that was a colossal pain. And that's what we're doing now, because the Panther has the same set of row wheels like this, the interleaved wheels, but you don't have to bolt them all in. You just kind of click each one of them and they go. This one makes you bolt them all in, and this is like, whoa. And this is typical too of tanks that you recover from the field. They won't have all of the bolts holding in everything. Some of them may be red even. I'm looking for one of those. Actually, more often I find red bolts on stuff from the junkyard, and a red bolt is one that ordinarily you would just pull them out before if you didn't have access to, say, the impact wrench that I have here. And there's sometimes you would see bolts that were red, which would mean they were frozen, and you have to use the angle grinder to cut them out. But the impact wrench ignores the red bolts. It can just pull them out whether they're frozen or not. What else do we have here? See, there's like no road wheels on this side. And I don't think I got everything out of the interior yet, but I'll make a once over of that before I start doing the repair work. And now we have all of these torsion. Whoops, let's get this idler wheeler off too. And now we have all these torsion bars that are inside there. The Panther uses the same system. It has a whole row of torsion bars that run across the entire length, or the entire width of the vehicle from front to back. I think all that's left is the gearbox. No, there's some... Or no, I guess that stuff is part of the model. Okay, so you can tell if you come in here and look at your analysis right now. The whole interior is 0, turret interior is 0, engine is 0, whole exterior is 0. That means we've taken all the parts out, which is what we want. So then you come over here to storage and select all, outsource repairs, commence to repairing. And that will run on its own. You don't need to sit and watch it. And now I come in here and buy the missing parts. I think it was, I didn't look, I should have been paying more attention. It's going to cost $9,600, call it $9,700 to buy everything that we need. And I think I spent probably $1,200 on repairs. So the first thing I'd like to do then is pull out the derusting tool and derust everything. And then we sand it. And then we prime it. And then paint it. And I'm going to take a look around, make sure that I didn't leave anything attached to it. Yep, so the turret shell is ready to go. And now we do the same thing with the hull here. That is a terrible color. And these interior pieces are like, they're part of it. They're part of the interior, but you have to come in here and do them individually. That should get everything done in here. And now we have to clean up the engine block, which needs to be derusted and not sand. That's the sander. That's the derusting tool, rather. Now we sand it. And that's done. So in the amount of time it took us to get these pieces ready to begin assembly, all of our repair work should be done. And yeah, everything is ready to go, so now we can just start slapping things together. And the one thing that I always seem to miss, and it's not highlighting here, what isn't? Something is not right. Or I'm missing something. Yeah, the dipstick, and it should be right there. Oh no, there it is. See, it was obscured by the chain. That's where that thing is. It's such a pain. These engines all have a dipstick that you have to install, and it's such a pain in the butt to find it on some of them. But that engine is done, though. It's ready to go. I like to then do the turret. If you're careful, you can walk out on the barrel. Probably not good for it, though. I was going to say I think I'm down to interior parts, but I'm not. I think there's a hatch back here. Yep. It gets really cramped in here. I know that there's something. Yeah, see, there's the hand wheel. I think there's a gunner's sight that needs to go on here as well. There it is. The interior vision blocks. And I think that's everything. No, it's not. There's a pistol port back here. Nope, there's another piece right there. It doesn't do a good job of highlighting things that are missing. Sometimes you, like there's one down there too. And I mean, they're just kind of translucent silhouettes of things that are missing. And sometimes it's really easy to miss them. But then you can come in here and see turret exterior 100, turret interior 100. That means the turret is completely finished. And the engine is finished. So now we can begin work on the meat of the project here. And I like to put in these torsion bars first because there's so damn many of them. Ugh, dang it. And for a lot of this stuff, it's easy. It's pretty much just point and click to install things. This particular tank has a lot of stuff that you actually have to physically bolt on, and that's why this one gets a little tedious when you get to installing the tracks and the road wheels, because you have to bolt most of the wheels into place, and that's just, it gets kind of exhausting because each one of them has like 8 bolts, and there's so many of them. I want to get to the interior. I am going to repaint this tank. I don't know why they made it yellow. It's kind of like a desert color. I don't know. I don't know if any Tiger tanks made it to North Africa. I'd have to look. You would think that they would be painting it this color if they were serving in the desert. I always thought that they were pretty much all either in Europe or on the Eastern Front. But I don't know. I'd have to. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk out of my ear here. Okay, I think it's ready for the engine to go in. I don't think this one has. Some of the tanks have fuel lines and stuff that need to go in, and I find it easier to put all that stuff in first before you drop the engine in. See, now that I put it in there, the transmission is already connected, and the cooling lines are connected. Is there a fuel line? I don't think that there is. Let's see here. Yep, fuel system 100%, gearbox 100%. So those things are all hooked up, which means the turret can go on now. And it looks like a tank. Clearly missing. It's got two of the three things that make a tank, right? Armor, great big gun. It needs the tracks, which we will get to here in a moment. You have to bolt on all of these side skirts. I think it calls them mud guards, yeah. Okay, that takes us down to pretty much doing the tracks. I wanted to point out something, though, that I found out later. These guns that are here, you can take them out like this, and there's no really intuitive way to put them back. And what you have to do is go into disassembly mode, and then click on the part, and then click it again to select a part, and it'll bring up this prop panel with the appropriate guns that will fit in it. And I have like 1, 2, 3. I have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of these. I was taking them every gun that I found, but I have so many now that I can't even put on display in the museum anymore because I filled up all the display cases with guns that I'm not bothering to keep them anymore. And it doesn't affect the value of the vehicle one way or the other. It seems to me, if I were building tanks for museum operators, that they would want to have all those slots full. But that's just me. One more row to go. After all that, it doesn't make you bolt the sprocket wheel on, but I still have to bolt these on. If I do manage to find a Panther tank, if I find a Panther, I may do a video on the Panther, because I like working on the Panther quite a bit. It's my favorite tank that's in the game. And the Panther has the same sort of interleaved wheel system as the Tiger does, but for some reason they did it where you have to bolt all these wheels on for the Tiger, but not for the Panther. All the wheels are just point and click and they go. So it's so much easier to do, and the Panther sells for so much more money. It's almost like there's no reason to do Tiger tanks if you can do Panthers. And that's one whole side done. Of course, now we have the other side to do, but that takes us up quite a ways. The wheels are 37%, of course. The tracks are zero. The tank value is 48,000 right now, and will be up to 60 something when it's finished. I think that putting these on actually has an effect on whether it shows the tracks and everything. Wheel 66, tracks are still 0. The value jumped to 55 though from 47. I couldn't get the wrench to grab that one. See, I can't seem to get that one to go either. Okay, all we have left on this side is the track. I really hate having to work around this thing. I wish you could move it aside. I wish you could move it back and forth so that it was like out of the way when you're working on the bottom part, but move it back when you need to climb up on top. But we should be 100% now. Yep, she's all done. And it's now $66,000. So what I want to do, I want to paint it. It's not necessary to paint a vehicle that you're just going to sell. It doesn't affect the value. But I like to experiment with what they look like. And I don't like this yellow. And we can go like this color, or that's a lighter gray. And then the camo patterns. Let's see here. This is the one that I have on the Tiger that I have in my museum. Don't really like it though. I'm probably going to pull it in here and change it. This actually looks pretty authentic. I've seen pictures of German tanks with the paint just slapped on. I like this one. This one is kind of subtle. This is like not subtle. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. This is kind of neat, like a splinter pattern. I think I'm going to go with this one, and you can scale it. You can make it. You can kind of shift it around, make it so that it's like so, and you can rotate it, try to achieve something that you like, and then you can change the color to some extent. I think I'll go with that. That looks kind of authentic to me. And then we'll just slap some. That's way too big. Nope. We'll slap some iron crosses on it, and we'll call it good. There she is, our latest, well, not really junkyard, but our latest field. I don't know. Whoop, there's a piece that I haven't installed. Look at that. Or not. Oh, I see. I was in disassembly mode and it wanted me to take that off. And I have literally never used this. I have no idea what it's for. Yeah, I was in disassembly mode. That was what happened there. It thought I wanted to take that off. For a second I thought I was finished. But we are, so we can go ahead and sell it and get our $66,000 for it. I want to make sure I don't have any parts in my inventory. Yeah. Okay, and sell. Okay, cool. Yeah, the only thing I have left to do, like I said, I've pretty much exhausted all of the possibilities that exist in the game currently. The only thing I have left to do is collect. There's some collectibles I don't have. There's some badges and medals that I haven't found yet. I recently found, I think, a German wound badge. I have a couple of Iron Crosses, but I don't have any other of the Russian. There's some Russian medals you can get that I haven't found. So I'll probably keep doing that because I still enjoy messing with the digging up of tanks and whatnot. It's kind of like Christmas. Go out there and dig something up and see what you get. But that'll wrap this one up. Like I said, this will probably be the last one I do unless I find something I really feel like showing off. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again for the next video, whatever it may be. So on that note, bye for now.